One thing you did miss on the train, I'm not sure, because it was a big deal to everyone online, is that Loki revealed he was bisexual. Some people were fighting about it, some people weren't. But I'm like, Norse mythology, they were screwing everything.
Exactly.
Like, it's not that big of it. It's not really surprising to me.
What's going on, YouTube? Essentially, a place to be chill, understanding the anime hero swag on zero.
What's going on?
Back with Loki, another edition of the Loki, episode 3 on TV Experience. This episode is, what name this episode is called? I should have really looked that up. But so obviously we're late, but we plan on giving you guys up to date stuff up to the current episode before the finale next week. Okay. So we're doing episode 3 here. You know how we do it here. We're talking about what we liked about the episode, something like that, before we get to the spoilers. And this one, obviously, was a step back from me, though. So, Swag, how did you feel about episode 3?
Extremely boring. This is the most boring episode I ever watched out of all the MCU properties. I put this a step slightly above Thor Ragnarok. The only reason I don't is because I really like Sylvie. I'm sorry, Thor.
Dark World.
Yeah, the one that everyone forgot. I put this a slight step above it because I was entertained by Sylvie. Okay. I actually like Sylvie's character. Other than that, this episode did absolutely nothing. I could have done without it.
This episode was one of the past. They try to give us the buddy cop stuff between Loki and Sylvie in this episode,
right?
And obviously, there are things to me. I was just like, I want to know more about the TVA, and we do find out some things, but I felt as though we could have did it without this episode. It actually felt like filler, and when you have a filler episode with a season's only 6 episodes long, kind of for a problem here.
I feel like everything could have fit in episode 4 with this.
It really could have.
This could have been split up in 2 and could have went to episode 2 and 3. I mean 2 and 4.
Yeah. So, well, guys, that's our thoughts. So I want to give this episode a catch at a barbershop.
Yeah, I could give it a catch at a barbershop. If I do watch this series again, I'll probably skip this episode.
Oh, so is it a rub me my refund?
No, it's a catch it at the bar. Like I said, a catch it at the bar.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. Okay. All right, guys. So it's time for the spoiler talk right now. So if you guys have not seen episode 3, there will be spoilers. And since me and Swag didn't like this episode that much, obviously there probably won't be as much detail, I should say, to be put up in this in the first place. So for starters, we already know that Loki jumped through the portal to go after Sylvie, and then they end up in this kind of I want to say was it Nemesis 1 or Nemesis 1?
I don't know the name. Lamentus, I think it's
Lamentus. There we go.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, Lamentus 1, where we are having this apocalyptic type of thing where he chases Sylvie into. But before we even get into that, we have a backstory of one of the guards that had got captured in the previous episode, that she's having drinks with Sylvie at this bar, and they're having like margarita and stuff like that. And it looks like it's just like, the old time. But then she says, look, when you get brain freeze, I get your thoughts will get stuck. So let me ask you a question when you get brain freeze. And then she says, who is in control of the TVA? And she is kind of realizing that this is not her memory, but then Sylvie kind of calms her down and brings it back into there. It shows that she's being controlled and knowing what's going. That these TVA people have memories. These soldiers or these people that work for these hunters, to say the least, have had lives before that Sylvie has brought through with enchantment. So now.
Right. Now, before I get past this, I do want to mention that part because I think that was one of the best ways to display her powers.
Yes.
That was a very smart way. It kind of caught me off guard, honestly, until that came up. I was like, oh, that's actually a great way to show that someone is in your head.
Yes.
So I really enjoyed that.
So it brings the fight back. So before we go to Lamentus 1, we have Sylvie come back to the TVA, and then Loki following after her as everybody's trying to go hunt them down, which causes, basically a fight where Loki tries to, bargain with her, but it doesn't happen. She takes out a couple of hunters, and then all of a sudden, Carnarva, uh, the judge, comes forward, and she tries to attack the, or forgot what it was when you stab them and takes them to
right,
whatever that realm is called. She tries to do that, but
we ain't get there yet.
Huh?
We ain't get to that realm yet.
No, we did. So, and they fall through this kind of portal, which leads them to Lamentus 1, which is in 2077, another apocalyptic event where nobody survived, where the moon is actually about to crash land on this planet. So
Thanos made us stop there.
I say what?
Thanos made us stop there.
He definitely did. So at first they're trying to find a way off this place because Loki has the little thing that it be able for him to go through time, but the battery is dying, so he's holding on to it. And now she says you don't even know how to charge it, so now they got to try to find a way to get out this place before the event happens, or find a way to charge the thing so they can get back to TVA and finish what Sylvia started. So meanwhile, this whole time we're on this thing, we got a whole buddy cop thing going on right now, and it's the whole thing of Loki kind of like in certain ways falling for Sylvie in certain ways, and it's like because she is kind of like another version of him in a way.
Call me variant.
I'm sorry about not calling some faded photocopy of me Loki.
Good, because that's not who I am anymore. I'm Sylvie now.
Oh, you changed your name. Brilliant.
It's called an alias.
I thought it made sense because for Loki to fall in love with himself.
Exactly.
I thought it made sense. It's like if anyone were to fall in love with Loki, it would be him.
It would be. So we have them kind of working together to try to get on this train thing to lead them to this. I forgot what it's called,
but it's the power source where they could get the power to recharge the battery.
Exactly.
Teleport.
So meanwhile, while they're on the train, they learn more about certain things. Like Loki explains to her, about his mother and how he was adopted because she was adopted too, and how she don't have very much memory of who her family is. And Loki tried to explain to her his powers of mischief and how, most of this stuff is make believe in the first place, and how how Sylvia uses her enchanted powers and things like that. And of course, Sylvia does not want to go to sleep because they want to go sleep with somebody untrustworthy like Loki. But she does fade off, and then when she does wake up, I do like the Loki getting drunk on the train scene. And sing after that. So first of all, one thing I've noticed is Tom Hiddleston, when it comes to Loki, owns this role.
Yeah,
he makes it his. He takes it serious, and it's like I think he wants this role to be his, like Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr.
Now, do you think it's because we don't have too many impressions of Loki, or too many we don't have any too many visions of Loki? Like, for example, like Batman. You could say I really like Ben Affleck's version of Batman. I feel like he owned that role. But we've seen different portrayals of Batman. Do you think because we haven't seen a certain portrayal, this is really the only portrayal of Loki that we've seen?
Well, no, I'm giving it because of Tom Hiddleston's performance as Loki. Okay. And when I say it's not because we haven't had too many iterations. It's just that you can tell by the way an actor is acting. It's kind of this. I hate to say it like this. I can tell that Idris Elba sometimes gets tired of playing Heimdall when he plays the role. Sometimes I could be like, he's phoned it in, or he does not want to be Heimdall today. I can see the excitement in Tom Hiddleston just to play Loki. I'm not saying he's the best Loki or whatever the case may be. I'm saying that he has the most passion about this role. You can tell by how an actor acts of how they enjoy the character that they're playing, or what they want to bring to the character. I can tell that with Tom Hiddleston. He doesn't get bored with it. He doesn't get annoyed with it. It's like when they call him to say, "Hey, we need you to do Loki again." He's like, "Sure, why not? I love doing Loki." Opposed to, I gotta do another superhero movie. There are some actors that are like that. It's kind of like when Robert Downey Jr. came back. I'm just like, Robert Downey Jr. was just like, "Hey," he took the role of Tony Stark, and it seemed like all of a sudden it was like all you can see is Tony Stark when it comes to him.
Right.
And it's like, hey, somebody else can probably play Tony Stark. They can probably do a good job, but he's embodied that Tony Stark. Ben Affleck did a good job as Batman, but I could tell there was sometimes, like when they was doing Justice League reshoots, Ben Affleck didn't want to be there.
Right.
It's but he was a good Batman. It's not saying that, well, I seen Michael Keaton and he was a better Batman. I could look at Michael Keaton and be like, hey, at that time, Michael Keaton enjoyed being Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Right.
If Bird wasn't coming back, he wasn't going to be it no more. But sometimes you can tell when the actor says, "Yo, suit me up for this." I hate to say, Anthony Mackie loves being Falcon. He said, "Yo, suit me up for 14 movies. I want to do this role." As
angry as he plays Sam Wilson.
Exactly. So that's. That's one day. I every time Tom Hiddleston says Loki, he enjoys being this conniving god of mischief. Like it almost seems like he reads Norse mythology, and he is just like, that's the guy. I'm studying this guy. This is going to be my role for life. Yes, I see Tom Hiddleston in a lot of other things, in a lot of other roles, but like, there's been talk of doing a Loki season 2.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, there is talks about doing a Loki season 2.
That actually throws my ideas for the season finale away.
Exactly. So I'm like, but if he's down for it, I just like, man, that's a lot of years playing this one character. He's been Loki since 2011.
Yeah, him and Thor, Chris Hemsworth, been the longest in the MCU so far. Nick Fury, other than that.
Robert Downey Jr.
Well, Robert Downey Jr. is done.
Well, he's done that. Yeah.
I'm talking like continuously. Nick Fury, Loki, and Thor.
Yeah, as of right now, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. One thing you did miss on the train, I'm not sure, because it was a big deal to everyone online, is that Loki revealed he was bisexual.
A bit of both. I suspect the same as you.
Some people were fighting about it. Some people weren't. But I'm like, Norse mythology, they were screwing everything.
Exactly.
Like, it's not that big of it. It's not really surprising to me.
And even to me, I remember that, and they coming out with that. That doesn't bother me. It's Loki. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't.
Yeah, it makes sense for a god to be there.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why there was such an uproar, or whatever the case, or I guess people was thinking it was just the SJWs, just forcing stuff in. I'm just like, this is Norse mythology stuff.
Right.
And if anybody has, because also I don't study Norse mythology, I'm saying, I'm not a Viking or anything like that. I don't,
Greek mythology. If you know anything about mythology, they just go, they send their kids anywhere.
Exactly what I'm saying. But even with those terms, it's just like, okay, I didn't study it, so but however, there are people out there that have studied some of that, and when I go back and do some things for research for these videos, I'm like, hey, Marvel be on point when it comes to just sticking to the story of Norse mythology stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, because obviously I just thought Thor was something they made up. I was like, no, that's a real thing, along with Odin and Hela and all that stuff like that. And
I actually did like research on the whole Ragnarok event.
Exactly. It's kind of just like what they do with Greek mythology when they use Zeus in DC.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeus, and they have Ares, and they have all. It's kind of like Marvel took the Norse mythology and DC took the Greek mythology,
right,
and just applied them as superheroes and stuff like that. So, me personally, I love Greek. I like Greek mythology over Norse mythology, but still, So they, as he's gotten drunk on the train, and then some of the soldiers come in who look like Cobra Commander. Like, what is up with them suits?
They look dumb.
They look dumb. He start a fight. He gets tossed off the train, and then when he reveals the little transporter, he busts it. because he got, he was in pretty much a battle. I like how she storms off and all her power just kind of like makes it like a little sound wave.
Yeah.
Pissed off, like, whoa, she got some powers.
It's like one of the good effects that Marvel had on this show.
Exactly. And then so they said that they could try one more thing of trying to go to the source of power to see if they can what was it? They can't charge the thing. They was trying to do something else.
They were trying to get on this rocket. To leave the planet.
To leave the planet. So they go to this big town, and where they see that it's getting closer, but the rocket gets destroyed by parts of the moon that's coming down to where they're at, and they realize that there's really nothing left for them to do, but just to like sit here and kind of die. But you can see that Loki is kind of revealing, his feelings. Well, he doesn't get there yet, but it's like they're just standing and they're just watching this rocket get blown up as Sylvie just kind of walks away from it. Meanwhile, Morbius is still trying to figure out what happened to their hunter that got kidnapped, that we saw the backstory with in the beginning of the episode. So that's what left on the cliffhanger. But that is pretty much wraps up for episode 3, right?
Episode 3, yeah. If you did, I don't really remember. Again, this episode was very boring, very slow. Didn't really push anything story-wise for me.
No, it didn't, unfortunately. But that was episode 3, like I said. So, guys, if I did forget anything, I'm sorry for what it wasn't the extensive breakdown that you guys were probably looking for or some of that. But this is our review of how we felt about it. It wasn't that much of an episode. We will be reviewing episode 4, so stay tuned for that, which I think things have picked up, and we have now gotten into some things where more questions are going to be asked. And once again, Marvel wants me to go down this hole, and I keep refusing to do it. And I wonder if I should just be like, you know what, just fuck it and go down the hole in the first place. So
I feel like you should just do it.
Yeah, because like
for the fun of us.
For the fun of us. I will be for fun of us until you throw it in my face like, well, Marvel did say this was supposed to happen. You expected. I'm just saying, look. Whoa.
I said that for the people online that was getting mad. It was like, you promised Morbius. I'm like, no, they didn't. They didn't promise at all.
They did. But you know what, guys? Post comments down below. How'd you guys enjoy episode 3? Hit the like button if you enjoy our review. Hit the subscribe button for more TV experience right here on NC Studios. So once again, it's NC place to be. Children Mr. A&D and the Anime Hero Swag on Zero.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and we'll see you on the next channel.